What would you say you do here?
It's the Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast. A podcast dedicated to up-and-coming bands, labels, artists, and more. Plug in and join your host, Brad Nunnery, as he dives deep into what the future of music has to hold and discover something new along the way. What else do you have to do?
Hey, this is Hansi Odorant from the Odorants, and you're listening to Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast. Peace.
I saw you just the other day. I read a map, but you looked the other way. You weren't alone, you're the girl I used to know. Years haven't changed you at all. You look the same, so beautiful. You did a say hello, girl I used to know. I wonder what has happened to you since our last goodbye. Do you still think about me sometimes? I watched you two for a while till you disappeared into the crowd. But you bought a buck, your husband doesn't know that we were once inseparable. Lasted only summer though. You could have said hello, girl I used to know. I wonder what has happened to you since our last goodbye. Do you still think about me sometimes?
That was Goodbye 219 by our good friends in the Odorants. Many thanks to Ansi Odorant for recording that promo for us. Really do appreciate it, man. You can find that song on their record, Love Songs Never Die. It was released last year on Striped Records. Love what these guys are doing. They are a really killer melodic punk band based out of Finland. I got an opportunity to talk to Ansi last year or last season on season 2, episode 8. Broke down the record, broke down that song, Goodbye 219. All that good stuff. Got to know the band a little bit, so if you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. But if you want to find out more about the Odorants, you can visit them on any social media platform at the Odorants Band. All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Brad Nunnery. Welcome to Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast, season 3, episode 6, presented by my really good friend Jeff Small over at 1603 Designs. My guests tonight are Matt and Andrew. They are from the band Borderlines from Portland, Maine. They just dropped a brand new EP. It's called Repair Kit. It's their follow-up from their 2023 album Keep Pretending. Amazing pop punk from these guys. If you're a huge fan of that kind of Ramones core, just that really killer pop punk, heavy hitting kind of stuff, you're gonna love Borderlines. And we're gonna talk to the guys all about the making of Repair Kit. We're gonna break down the songs from the record. Also, we're gonna talk about history of the band, future of the band, and actually they just broke the news right here on the show. They've already announced it, but when we recorded it, they told me that they're going to be doing some shows with Diesel Boy and Nerf Herder. So that's awesome. So we talked about that and a whole bunch of other good stuff. But right now, let's get into their latest music video from Repair Kit. It's called OK Socrates, and it's on Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast.
I don't wanna say it takes a lot for me to leave now these days. Well, I'll admit that I've grown. Take whatever that means as a keepsake. Well, I don't wanna say it takes a lot for me to leave now these days. Well, I'll admit that I've grown. Take whatever that means as a keepsake. It's a story that we're all told. We'll turn it a live stone. It feels like the days are numbered here, so why don't we shut up and go? Let them know that it's okay. I don't wanna go. It feels a lot like the penance now these days. Everything's on loan. And my phone's not telling me anything. It's a story that we're all told. We'll turn it into live stone. It feels like the days are numbered here, so why don't we shut up and go? Let them know that it's okay.
Matt, Andrew, thank you so much for joining the podcast. How you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Congratulations on the new EP Repair Kit. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I didn't tell you this before we started recording, but as of today, I got the vinyl.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, it was really cool. And I got a question to ask you about the vinyl too, because it came with like a little note card, and I thought Mom's Basement like sent me like a thank you note, but it wasn't. But I want to ask you the meaning. I don't know if it came out on Valentine's Day. If that was
Yes. So
is that what it is?
Yeah.
I'll
So
show you.
we it's funny, we ours haven't come yet, so we haven't seen it.
Oh really? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
show you.
Yeah.
You get these
So,
little.
what happened was we have a good friend. Her name's Danny.
Yeah.
And she's a cool artist and likes making Valentines. So I asked her if she would make one sort of a set of them based on each song on the EP, and she said she had a little fun with it. So then John at Mom's Basement said, "Why don't we sort of print a bunch out and include them in every order?" So that's what those are. But it's kind of fun.
No, it's awesome. It's great artwork, and it was a nice little surprise. I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? Is this a lottery ticket? No, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I love the way
someday.
Yeah, I love the way the vinyl came out. I got the. Did you guys do a whole bunch of different variants, or you just do a
Yeah, there's
one or two?
there's three. Yeah, that one looks great. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
love
That was
vinyl.
my favorite, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I really love the clear vinyl, and I don't know why. I just started collecting vinyl over the past couple of years, like I guess since the pandemic, because I've always been a CD guy. I've always been like a CD and tape guy, but I threw all my tapes away many years ago, and I regretted it ever since, like in 2001. I've regretted it so much.
That's a big regret. I have like 6 or 8 tapes, and I love them, but I don't have my old collection anymore.
Yeah. I was telling somebody the other day that I have, I don't know if you can see above me, but I have these roadie cases. It's all my CDs. And when my wife and I bought this house, she's like, you're not displaying your CDs in this house. I was like, come on, man. Like I've got 3,000 CDs, I want to build a library. I want to build a library. And she's like, no, we're not displaying those. So I said, okay. The pandemic came and I started collecting vinyl by chance. The only reason why I started is because I wanted a shirt from the band, and they sent a vinyl too. And then I'm like, okay, game over. And then it's just like, all right, here's my new addiction, kind of a deal. So 2 or 3 years later, or 4 years.
I'm gonna say you've got a killer collection for collecting for that long. Yeah, it's awesome. You can see mine in the corner. There's like 8.
Yeah.
What are they called? Like milk crates.
Milk crates. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So I kind of. I started getting into it. I'm like, she actually, she was game to me collecting vinyl. And so she's like, okay, well, I'll buy you that IKEA, square thing or whatever, so you can display it. I'm like, all right, cool. So we compromised. All right, we're not going to do tapes. So I put everything in, all my CDs in roadie cases, and I still regret throwing away all the shells and the backings, but
Yeah.
But I love it. But yeah, I love the vinyl. Great job. Very colorful. And did your friend who did the do these cards do the artwork for the EP?
No, actually, another one of our good friends did the art for the EP. But yeah, I think I just happened to see a couple of Valentines that Danny had posted, and I just said, "Hey, do you want to make some, for the new record?" She was into it, so yeah.
The artwork from that is actually like it's pulled from a book of artists in India. Like it's like a really zoomed in of a photo of these like textiles that are made in India, and I was like, man, I was thumbing through it at home, and like I zoomed in really closely, and I was like, oh, that would be a cool album cover. And we sent it to the guys, and we were kind of back and forth for a minute on the artwork, but I think it turned out really, really nice.
Yeah,
Matt.
It's colorful as hell. I love it.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea that Matt had from the beginning. Was he just wanted to? He was like, we should just have it like be, sort of pop like color popping out, because our last full length, the art we love, but it's kind of completely different. So we just kind of want a lot more color in this one. So
yeah, I love the artwork of your album Keep Pretending. That's such a killer artwork with a like, I guess it's like an 80s style with the wood paneling walls and shit, dude. It's awesome. I love the artwork, and I love the actually all the singles have the same artwork, but whoever's doing it, great job, kudos. And was it the same person that did the same?
No, actually,
No.
So John Lewis from the Dopamines did the art for Keep Pretending.
Oh, awesome.
He like went above and beyond what we thought he was going to do for that. I don't know, if we want to get into it that much, but he essentially took all these old Life magazines and scanned them, from like the 50s and 60s, and then made a collage, and that's what that's from. So.
Oh no, that's awesome. That's really good. That's really good backstory.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, so let's talk about the EP. It just came out around Valentine's Day. Well, actually, just recently. You've got 4 songs on here, and I want to talk about OK Socrates because I think you and I were going back and forth. It was my pick of the week I teamed up with Bad Club Media, and he asked me to record a pick of the week each week. And I'm like, and OK Socrates was just like fresh in my head. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this one and kind of give extra promotion because I know you guys were doing the podcast and all that kind of stuff. But as I was reading it and as I was doing it, I'm like, Socrates, and I kept on looking at it and I kept on going, Socrates.
Yeah,
Socrates.
I read that.
From Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if it is, but it's probably not. But I thought it would be pretty cool to say. But so let's set the record straight. It is OK Socrates and not OK Socrates, correct?
Yeah, it is. But it's funny. I didn't think of that until you posted that video, and then I cracked up laughing because I actually haven't seen Bill and Ted in a long time. I was like, it made me want to watch that again. But
it used to the song was originally just called OK, I think, right?
Yeah, we just had it written down on the board at our practice space as OK because of that long OK that I do in the song. And then I don't know how. I don't even remember.
I think I just said like OK Socrates, and then I was just like bullshitting, and then it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Let's roll with it, and then it kind of fit. It was good.
Yeah. And so, what is you're saying OK Socrates. What's the theme around the song and everything about that?
Yeah, the song is more just I think the video sort of goes on the same theme. It's just like the song is sort of kind of about feeling isolated and sort of stuck in a routine, that you sort of feel like you can't break out of, which I don't think Socrates ever wrote about, but I'm sure there's some connection we could make there with his philosophy somewhere. I don't know, but no, yeah, that's what that song's about. But the video, we just kind of took that theme and ran with it.
Yeah, and was it something that you was kind of built out of like the pandemic? Had you had this song for a while, kind of a deal, and finally released it, or is it something that was just that you knew that was
pretty
gonna be
fresh
coming on
I think,
the EP?
right?
Yeah, no, I didn't write it during the pandemic, but I think it's sort of just some ideas maybe left over. And I work from home, so I think that is a part of it sometimes for me. Like, I used to go to I work as a reporter. I used to go into an office, but most of the time now I work from home, and that sort of started with the pandemic. But and in a lot of ways it's awesome, but I feel like, and I think Matt can relate to this, is sometimes you just feel like you're sort of in a little bit of a jail cell sometimes. I don't know.
I'm in my jail cell right now. I've
That's
worked
right.
all day today, and
I'm in my jail cell right now too.
You got it. You've obviously, Brad, surrounded yourself in stuff that you love, and I'm the same way. I can turn around and express some shit if I need to.
Yeah, that's nice. It's nice you got that piano there.
It's important.
Yeah, you got all those instruments and all that kind of stuff. You can just diddle whatever. It's cool. And I know, and I feel you, Andrew, about working from home. My company went through a split, and they're like, okay, well, during the pandemic, we started working from home, so we did work from home for like a year, and we had to self-teach our kids, and I have to make sure our kids were going online, and go doing the online classes, and I was still trying to do my job at the same time, kind of a deal. And then that all went away, and they all went back to school, and that's great. But now, just recently, my company split, and so they're like, all right, everybody work from home for the next 3 months or 2 months or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh, please don't. I'm the only one at my job that hates working from home. I hate it. I'm like 10-second Tom. I have to do the laundry. I have to do whatever. My mind is totally going left and right, and I can't focus. I surround myself with really cool stuff, but it distracts me even more because I'm like, oh, let me check out that record. I'm supposed to be working. So it's like, I like going in the office, but when those 3 months hit again, that I work from home, I'm like, man, I don't know how much I could survive. It's amazing. I still have a job right now because of my attention span and being able to work from home. And I feel, bound by, and having 3 kids at home and 2 dogs. And it's just like, you feel like there's no separation, right? And you just feel like you're just living every day. It's like a Groundhog Day, it seems.
Yeah.
That's what this song is about.
Yeah, that's essentially
Like,
that's
legit.
you just described it. So
Yeah.
And I knew there was a reason why I love this freaking song. I mean,
Yeah,
not only is it melodic as hell and catchy as hell, but now that I know the true meaning, it's just I'll love it even more. It's probably I'm gonna tell you this right now, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass, and I'm not trying to like kiss your ass or anything, but it's probably gonna be one of my songs of the year. I don't really do like top of the year things, but this song is just it hits home with me for some reason, just the way that everything's laid out and the way that everything sounds. And video is amazing. Who'd you have do the music video?
So
Us.
we mostly filmed it ourselves. All the shots of me inside the house were actually my wife filming me. But then and then we did some shots at a bar up the street called Howie's that we love. But a buddy of ours, his name's Corey. He's the drummer of a band called Hell Beach. He edited it for us, and yeah, that was it. But yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to sort of shoot things yourself and then sort of see where it goes.
Yeah, and it's probably more cost effective too, right? You don't have to pay somebody to go and do it for you, right? You don't have to pay a production studio or whatnot, right? Everything's done by smartphones nowadays. It doesn't take a huge budget. And I was talking to another band. They're like, yeah, we just put up like a black screen in our garage and just like screwed around with the lights. You can barely tell, but like, as long as it's got great quality, it doesn't even freaking matter anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get creative, like you have to just sort of go think outside the box and just be like, well, what can I do with an iPhone? Or like you said, they're messing with the lights. I love that kind of stuff. Like, make it simple, but just kind of like throw some paint on it type of thing and see what it looks like.
I think it would be complicated too. And the music videos always mystify me as an editor, trying to match up like what you're playing to actually the song, and like when you're doing all these different cuts and making sure you come back and they're playing the same notes. Like I have no idea how.
That's Corey. Corey did
what's that?
That's the guy who edited it. Just like I don't know. I thought the same thing, and I was like, how many times did he have to watch this one scene?
He did one for the first song on the EP called "Cut You Out," which was just us performing in our space. And I think because Socrates, we're not playing, so in that way it's kind of, from an editing standpoint, it's easier because there's no cuts of us playing. But for the "Cut You Out" video, that's all it was. So we kind of went from like spend all your time lining it up to here, now you can have a little break and get a little creative with it. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and speaking of "Cut You Out," let's talk about the song and how it came together and the theme around this one.
Yeah,
that one I wrote with like some of my past relationships, like friendships, girlfriends, things that I just was like, what's it like to cut somebody out of your life? It's hard. It takes some guts, and I just started messing around. I think that one, it felt like I was in the pandemic, but I was just in what's it called? Parental leave. Like I just had a baby, my daughter, and I just had a lot of time in between naps, or I guess during naps. And I started writing that, and I was like, oh man, this is kind of like coming together. And I sent a demo to the guys, and they dug it. And it's a little different than some of the songs we had ever written. So I I don't always have like an okay Socrates story behind my songs. My songs are kind of, they just sort of are thrown up out of my brain, and they end up coming together with the help of the 3 other bandmates, which is super helpful. But
yeah, that's how it works, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, don't fix it.
Just tell me that I'm breaking all your rules. You don't have to tell the whole world that I'm not the one for you. Yeah, you can just tell me that I'm already past so great. Sure, I'll be lost without you, but it's already too late.
I remember writing that one in the practice space, and yeah, I think Matt's right that when we first wrote it, it was like, this sounds different for us, but I think in the end it came together and it was like a perfect blend of sort of our sound, but maybe a little different, elements thrown in there, especially at the end where Matt kind of added this like, how do you say it? spoken word part during the last chorus, and we threw a whole bunch of guitars on in it, and I really liked that part, and it was different for us.
Yeah, I love I did I did notice, a couple of these tracks, it sounds a lot different than what I remember from Keep Pretending. It's definitely, in the same veins and in everything and all that kind of stuff, but I just remember like hearing Okay Socrates and Cut You Out going, man, this is a little bit different kind of direction, and it's a great direction, but you guys are a little bit, I don't know, I shouldn't say more pop punkish, but you guys definitely have that Travolta's kind of vibe to it's like almost Beach Boys punk rock kind of stuff. It's weird, it's got that sound to it, like I can't really describe it or put my thing on it, but I didn't remember it being that I guess pop punkish or whatnot. Was that something that you guys kind of thought about going in, say, hey, let's just make something different for this EP and just see where it flies? Or is it just something that everything just came naturally to you guys?
No, I think it came naturally, but
yeah,
I'd agree with that. I don't think we were just writing new songs, and these four were just like among the first batch that we wrote after Keep Pretending, and we just thought that they fit really well together. We've always sort of dug that, like Travolta's, like you said, like pop. Like we sort of come from that pop punk world from when we were teenagers, of like like harmonies, like even bands like, I don't know, I guess you could say the Queers and stuff like that.
Methadones.
Yeah, kind of like the Ramones core kind of stuff, Screeching Weasel and all. Like
we sort of came out of those bands as like from when we were young. But I think Matt and I still love to, because we've been singing together for a while. Like we still love to throw in harmonies for most songs. But I think the difference is, like, now we're sort of getting into a different kind of songwriting, but we're still throwing the harmonies in there. So I think that's what, so I think like that mix is what we're really sort of digging, And
we try not to. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
we try not to like stray too far from our, I don't know, what do you call it, a brand, but like at the same time want to try and expand our songwriting, and it's hard to do, like stay within your lane, but like, throw the paint on it, like I said. And like now I'm writing songs where I'm like, ooh, we did that, let's do this, and it's fun to think about going forward.
Yeah, no, it's funny that you say that, because I I do hear that Ramones core stuff, but I wouldn't say your stuff is Ramones core. Like you're not a Ramones core band, but you definitely have those points in some of your songs that you're like, oh hell yeah, you know, like like you said, the harmonies between you and Matt, Andrew, like I love that kind of stuff. That super melodic kind of stuff. Some, you know, stuff that you can sing to. That's what I really love, and that's what really hooks me. And you know, I love the Ramones core stuff too. But you know, after a while, it just gets kind of like, okay, I get it, you know, kind of a deal. But like when you mix it up and you have different kind of genres inside that, and still be able to do it, that's incredible. And that's what I love about your band is that you guys have a way to use that roots of that Ramones core, but you make it more pop punk, more almost alternative punk kind of stuff. And that's what I really love.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah. And yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
It seems like you get it. I don't know if a lot of people do. So yeah.
That's
No,
interesting
absolutely.
what you said earlier about like, I don't know how to put my finger on it. We struggle with that. Like some people ask
Yeah.
us how to describe our music, and I'm like, you know, if I'm talking to somebody from work, I'm like, we're like, picture early Green Day. That's it. That's all I say. And like,
Yeah.
I know that it's not that, but like,
Right.
that's as close as, I don't know what their taste in music is. That's as close as I can like describe in a sentence.
It's super hard when like people who aren't sort of knowledgeable about music ask you what your band sounds like. I'm always just like, oh, we're a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
We play rock and
No,
roll.
there's a lot. There's a lot of people at my work. They're like, oh, you know, they know like one of my favorite bands is Lagwagon of all time, you know, and and so like I had a conversation with a coworker, and they're like, oh, what'd you do before this and stuff, and I told them I was in radio and did this punk show and all this kind of stuff, and she's like, what kind of punk bands do you like? And I'm like, well, I like these bands, and she's like, well, let me listen to Lagwagon. So I'm like, okay. So I let her listen. I forget what Lagwagon song it was, and she's like, it sounds like Green Day. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Like anything punk rock, they go, oh, that sounds like Green Day. That sounds like Green Day. So you know, I'm always like, well, it's not, but it, you know, I get where you're coming from. But like I said, like you said, Andrew, like if they don't, you don't know their style of music or whatnot, you know, it's the best way you can be like, oh, okay, you know, like they would understand it and get it, but they wouldn't really understand the subtle differences of what your music is compared to Green Day, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're about to go on tour, aren't they? Lagwagon?
Lagwagon?
Like looking it up.
They're
I saw
they're
it.
always touring.
Yeah, I guess they're always playing, but
They're playing in Europe. They're doing some Europe show, Europe tour over the summer, and they never come to Orlando. Those bastards.
crazy that never. Yeah, that's interesting.
They've been here once, and that was like 2006 or 7, because my wife and I were first dating, and she got me tickets because she knew I was a diehard fan. And I forget who else was with them. I might have been Death by Stereo. It might have been the No Effect show.
Nice.
I
think I remember.
Yeah, it was like 2006, 2007 ish. But that was the last time I saw them, and they never come here. And then, you know, then Warped Tour went away, but now it's back and it's coming to Orlando, and I haven't seen any Lagwagon on there. They're just slowly releasing the band names and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Lagwagon, if you're listening, you know, let's get an Orlando show with Borderlines.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. No, speaking of which, I want to talk about, so you got some EP release shows and some of the bands that you're playing with. Teenage Bottle Rocket, absolutely love Teenage Bottle Rocket. You're doing a show with them and Make War. Love Make War as well. Also, Oh the Humanity from Boston. Their new record is probably it's going to be up there for my full length of the year. I mean, those guys are incredible. How did you get hooked up with these guys and have them jump on your EP release show?
That record's awesome.
They rip for sure. Yeah. Well, actually, they reached out to us because they were doing some shows around the release of their new record. I think they're going up playing I think they're going to play in Canada, and then they're playing a couple more shows. So they hit us up about playing the Maine gig. So that's how that came about. And then it just happened to line up that we ended up releasing the EP like the month before. So we just decided to make these two shows that we happen to get like sort of back to back, just make those our EP release shows. So I think it's going to be sort of like a dual release because they just put out their record and we just put out ours, so it should be fun.
Yeah. When are the shows?
That one is March 13th. It's a Thursday.
Okay. It's coming up.
Yeah, it's in Biddeford, Maine, which is just south of us, and this new venue called Mulligan's upstairs. They do shows like I think it's like an Irish bar, and they I forget his name right off the top of my head, but this guy in the local hardcore scene has been booking hardcore shows there recently, and I don't know if you follow any hardcore music, but Maine hardcore is like blowing up right now. Like it used to be on the map with bands like Outbreak and Cruel Hand and Wake Up Call, and then there was a little bit of a hiatus, and now it's kind of on its way back up. It's pretty epic. So those shows are really packed and energetic, and we're hoping for the same.
Yeah, well, you got like Drain and Turnstile and all that kind of stuff. Those bands that are just setting the tone, and I think there's a resurgence for that hardcore. Even Biohazard got back together. Like, we want some of this, like they've been asleep for the past like 20 years. And they're like, oh shit, these kids are doing what we did 20, 25, 30 years ago.
Totally.
It's really cool that because Biohazard was like one of the first like hardcore band, and I didn't even know they were hardcore back in the day. I just knew that I loved Urban Discipline was like one of my favorite records when I was in high school, and then of course Roadrunner Records put out Biohazard, Typo Negative, Sepultura, like all that kind of stuff, and I fell in love with Roadrunner and all the bands on there. But yeah, it's so great to see that hardcore coming back for sure. I agree with you, man. I think it was kind of like stale for a little while, but glad to see it's back.
Yeah, it's fun. Those shows are fun. I mean, that's what the scene I grew up going to shows in was. And then I kind of like met Andrew, honestly. Like we met in college, and then I was like, oh, I want to come on tour with your band, The Leftovers, at the time. And I ended up joining that band, but and it got me in more to the punk, pop punk scene. But
right.
It's cool to have a little bit of a mix. I think that also shines through in our songwriting in ways sometimes. It's harder to mix in, but I always try and say, let's do something like mean.
Yeah, we're always trying to, I think with the new EP, we were trying to throw in a little more riffy stuff, like in Cut You Out, like the
Tragedy
bridge,
Waits.
The bridge part. Yeah, and the part in Tragedy Waits too, a little riffy, but yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun. We like Matt was saying, we grew up with the guys in like Cruel Hand and the singer Chris Linkovich. He plays in Terror now too, but he's a huge reason why like the Maine hardcore scene like is big now because he supports it and all that. So yeah,
Cheap Life Records.
Yeah, he has a label and books shows and
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you wouldn't think these pop punk guys would know those hardcore guys, but small world in Maine.
No, it's awesome. That's so awesome. All right, so let's go back to the beginning. And Matt, you said that you and Andrew met in college. How did you guys were in a band called The Leftovers? You were active 2006 to 2010. Thank you, Andrew, for providing that tidbit of information. So let's talk about the formation of Borderlines, because I was looking on Spotify and it looked like you guys about 2 years after, actually 2012, 2013 is when Borderlines got together. Is that right?
Yeah. I think 2012 is when we put out the first EP. So yeah, The Leftovers had sort of broken up, and but we still had, we've been writing songs and just sort of wanted an outlet for those songs, and that's how that started. So yeah, but then for whatever reason, I don't even know why. I mean, I guess partly it was Matt moved to Spain for a little bit, but we sort of did some shows when we first released the EP. We played Fest way back in I think it was 2013 we played Fest. So Fest 11.
Oh wow.
So, and we just played it this past year. So we went 11 years between Fest, Fest appearances, but that was cool to get back there. But yeah, so there were sort of a lot of years where we didn't sort of do much for one reason or the other, but in the last, I would say, starting like, I guess after the pandemic, we really were like, we have all these songs just sitting in the backlog. Let's record a full length finally. I think that's what happened.
Yeah. That's really great. And how did Mike and Maddie get into the band? Were you guys all friends? And you kind of said, hey, you know, we're getting a band together, kind of a deal. Are you guys interested, kind of a deal? Is that how everything worked out?
Yeah, Maddie and I, we had another bass player named Eric for a minute, but he moved. He lived in Wisconsin. He was kind of just remote and coming here and playing every so often. But Maddie and I have been friends since we were little tykes, and he's a phenomenal guitar player.
He's better than both of us at guitar.
Way better at guitar than us.
Oh, really?
And
yeah,
and we're like, hey, you want to play bass? and so
this is a
we know
punk
you're
band,
really
so.
good. We don't want you outshining us, so get on bass.
Yeah.
he said, fuck no, I think, at first. And then we described, like what we were doing. And he was like, oh, you know, I think that he was also, and I'm sure he's going to listen to this and laugh, but he was younger than us and like maybe idolized a little bit of what we were doing with the Leftovers. And it was cool to be like, hey, we want to play music with you. Like, we know you're a great musician. And I think you could like provide some depth to our band as a bass player. And he does that. I mean, he's an incredible bass player, and it's fun to talk to him now. Like at first, like maybe the first year or so, he's like, oh, bass, I'd rather be playing guitar. Not saying that outrightly, but like
you can kind of tell. Yeah,
you could kind of tell.
Yeah.
And now he's like, oh yeah, that line could be here, whatever it is. And so he adds, like I said, some depth to maybe our rudimentary guitar.
Yeah. He comes up with great stuff, and he'll never admit to it, but he does. So
So Mikey, I think, was in the fold before Maddie, right, Andrew?
Yeah. So Mikey sort of started out as like filling in for some shows, because our original drummer Adam was the drummer of the Leftovers, but he had moved to LA, and so after a while, and then particularly after Matt moved back from Spain, we were just like, we kind of wanted to do the band, you know, more often and practice more regularly. So that's kind of where we just had Mikey step in. But we've known Mikey for a long time. We've known him since we were teenagers, you know, playing in punk bands.
He's
and then
well known for like his solid drumming in the Maine punk scene and hardcore scene.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
he's like one of the drummers up here. So
it's Maine. It's Maine, so we have like 4 drummers here. So you know, you gotta.
Is that what it is? Like, is it that?
I mean, not really.
No.
You know,
I'm just joking, but.
No, that's funny. All right, so you guys had said that you had played Fest. You guys are going to play Fest this year. Are you going to make an announcement or anything, or are you not playing it this year?
I don't think we're going to be on it this year. Hopefully we can get back again. I don't know, in 2025, or I guess that's this year, 2026. But we're see.
We're looking to do something else to fill that gap. I think we'll pull something together that'll be worthwhile. Usually the summer, you know, maybe in Florida, you guys get good weather most of the year. But our summers are short, so we're like, oh, we gotta be swimming every day, you know, like we gotta be out fishing and doing the stuff. But
our summers.
Yeah, I mean, you got family here. You probably got free places to stay if you guys want to book a little Florida tour.
Yeah, if we come down, I'll definitely hit you up. That'd be fun to hang.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Any of the bands that come and play that I've helped support or whatnot, I will go and try to go and see. Like, I have to be really selective, you know, being married and having 3 kids and all that kind. You know how that is, and having kids and trying to have a dude's night or a guy's night out or whatnot, or get a babysitter or whatnot. but I was able to do the Sanford Punk Fest a couple weekends ago, and I had never been to the Sanford Punk Fest, and I'm like, oh man, this is freaking amazing, you know, and got to see Wes Hoffman and Knives and stuff, and I've seen those guys a couple times every time that they're in town, and any of these bands that come into town, I'll go and help support for sure. I get a out of jail free card from the wife because she knows what's up. But
It's important.
I'm a little bit more selective. But yeah, come on down to Florida, man. We got some sun. It's hotter every year, so get here sooner than later.
Yeah,
because you
no
might
kidding.
Fry in the next couple years.
We actually played the same venue as Knives this past fest, I think.
Oh, did you?
Same day,
Yeah.
I think. I think they played like 4 or 5 bands after us, so they were like the headliner of that venue that day.
Yeah. Vecinos is the venue.
Casinos, yeah.
Yep.
It's cool. I didn't get to talk with any of them or meet them, but I've watched some of their videos. They seem like a cool skate punk band.
Yeah, they're really great, and Danny Attack is he's a hell of a solo artist too, and he was a solo artist before Knives, and they kind of merged in, and he got a band together, and finally got a new bass player, Adam, and Josh the drummer is in a band called Feed the Right Wolf. He's from Jacksonville, but he's also fronting a grunge rock band out of Virginia, and the rest of the guys are in Virginia, so he's in multiple bands, and everybody's doing their thing and kind of rotating and all that kind of stuff. But it's really cool to see them, and they play here in Orlando all the time. They're from Jacksonville. They're only 2 hours away, but I've seen them like 3 times, out of more times than I've seen any other band or been to any shows. But it's really good time. Maybe you guys can get on the pre-fest. That was one of the shows I was be able to do, and they have like the week prior to, they have a thing at Will's Pub here, and they have like 20 different bands playing like the night before. Or
I went to Foreign Descent a few years back because we have some friends in a band from the Netherlands called Lone Wolf, and I went on their little short tour and I did all the pre-fest with them, and man,
oh cool,
what a time! Like such a fun.
Yeah,
you can just feel like the angst building up to fest, and it's just it releases every night a little bit more, and then you're finally there at fest, and Will's Pub is, if every city could have a Will's Pub.
Yeah,
I love that place.
Yeah, it's really cool. I remember at Will's Pub 1, it was down the street, about a mile down on the same street, and it was nothing what it was. It was weird. They had a stage in the back, and they had a bar up front and pool tables up front, and it wasn't really great for a lot of people. So I think I think they started getting bigger, and they're like, we need to have more space for people to see the band, kind of a deal. And once they moved over there, I hadn't seen a show in forever, and not only until I started Signal Chords, I started going. I'm like, I've been to Will's Pub literally probably 10 times in the past year, and I haven't gone. It's so crazy. Like, and now I'm at Will's Pub all the time, and I still think it's small there too. And I'm like, man, I think
that's why I like it. It's like smaller. It's like the right size. I felt
it's perfect size.
Yeah. You'll probably see a Borderline sticker there somewhere if you really look.
Oh, dude!
I think I brought like
if I see it, I'll snap a picture.
And I was just like,
I was gonna do a whole bunch of Signal Chord stickers and throw them on there to help promote, but I'm one of those type of people that I constantly worry that I'm gonna get in trouble. Like someone's gonna find my website and be like, "Dude, you fucking put a sticker on a bathroom, like you owe us money or whatever for cleaning fees or what." I'm still like have that guilty conscience about it.
Yeah, Matt doesn't think about stuff like that.
No, like I said,
he's still too punk rock for that.
Yeah, just have a couple beers. Screw it. Boom, slap it on there. All right, so let's talk about "Not Your Fault." Love this song. I love everything about. I mean, I love all the songs on here, but let's talk about "Not Your Fault" and what it's all about and how it came to be.
Yeah, so I think this is actually the first song we wrote for this EP, or ended up being on the EP, right, Matt?
I think so.
The lyrics are, I think it's kind of obvious, but the lyrics are kind of just about, we have a big, over the past probably, 5 or so years, our homelessness issue in Maine has gotten very, very bad.
It's bad out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and where we live in Portland, is the biggest city in Maine, and so we have, you know, a lot of the most resources, you know, available to homeless folks. So we just have a huge homeless population in Portland, and it's just grown. It's just increased a lot in the last, like, especially since COVID or whatever. But so this song was kind of, and because I work as a reporter, I sort of see it in different cities too. But the song really just came from the idea that, like, you know, the people in charge, and you could, if you listen to it, you could sort of definitely, you know, make a connection to like the national level too, but just about how politicians don't, they're always sort of saying they can't do something, or reasons why they can't do something, even though that's why they were elected, is to solve problems. And that's really where
it would work that way. Yeah.
That's really where that came from. I mean, we're not really, I wouldn't say we're like a political band at all, but I think these lyrics are probably maybe the most obvious ones that we've had so far. But yeah, that's what that song's about. Awesome. I think the song itself, just I think when we were writing it, we were kind of like, hey, this, you know, maybe this sounds like Bouncing Souls a little bit, or I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
I remember when you sent me the riff, like the part, and I was like, it's sick. It's gonna take me forever to learn it, and like, like I remember trying to, you know, for some reason, I'll write like the most complex riff and be like expecting everyone to just know it, and then when Andrew writes one, I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, like, I don't know how to play it. And it took me a while to get it. I remember that being like, oh, this one again. Like, and then once I got it, I was like, oh, there it is. Once it clicks that one time, and I got it. It's up there, and it felt good to jam it. And yeah, I think that song, I don't know, Bouncing Souls, or Eye of the Beholder. I think it's one of my favorite songs to do backup vocals for.
In the woods and on the ground, I read a letter to the ones that call the shots. They see pictures, but not a sound. They turn it off and they say, we don't care, we see it, but it's not our fault. We don't care, we see it, but it's not our job. I know it's not the same as it was before.
How do you guys choose vocally, as far as who's going to take the lead or who's going to do the harmonies, all that kind of stuff? Is it basically the person who writes the song? Like, Matt, if you write the song, you're like, okay, I'm going to take the lead on this, or Andrew, and vice versa. Is that usually how it works?
Yeah. And then this EP is like especially cool for us because it's 2 and 2, and we haven't ever really had that. Our first EP was, I think I sang one song. And then the full length, Matt sings the majority of the songs. I think I sing lead on 3 or 2 or 3. 3, I think. So this was like the model when we started the band. It's like, let's do. We're like big Lawrence Arms fans, so we were like, and Alkaline Trio, and like, you know, bands that can do multiple vocalists. And
the Menzingers have that too. The two
Menzingers.
Teenage Bottle Rocket.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
totally.
Yep.
And they've always been very like 50%.
It's incredible. Like I've done this so many different times in the past. When I have like my Teenage Bottle Rocket kick, I will go on Spotify and I'll get all the Cody songs and put it on a playlist, and then I'll put all the other ones on a playlist too, so I can have, and they're like 2 different records, right? So it's okay, it's like having one band with Cody and the other one with
those,
what's his name,
Ray.
Those
the newer Riverdale's records. I don't know if you're a Riverdale's fan, but the newer ones especially, I think, just personally, I think Dan's songs are like far and away better than Ben's. So like I have a playlist. I'll just listen to all of Vapid's songs.
I
from
love
those
Dan.
records.
I love
so
the Methadones.
Good.
I'm a huge Methadones fan, and I'm a huge Dan Vapid and the Cheats and all that.
I
Kind
remember
of stuff. Like,
he came up and sang. What was it? What
With
song?
the Leftovers,
Yeah.
we got Dan to sing. There's a party at the beach.
Oh yeah, Party at the Beach. And
Really?
I'm playing guitar and I'm like fangirling. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, dude, hell
Dan
yeah.
fucking Vapid right
Yeah.
there. It's awesome.
And he did. It was funny because we had to convince him to do it and like remind him what the lyrics were. Remember?
Yeah, he didn't
There's
know
like
the words.
there's
Oh,
like
really?
2 lines.
Yeah.
So what is it like right before you went on stage, or like how did you guys get?
No,
him to
we
do
were
it? How did you
playing with
convince him?
the Leftovers were playing with the Methadones that night. I think it was it I think it was in Indianapolis, I want to say.
I thought it was in Chicago. Because I remember
okay.
going out to breakfast the next day with what's his name from the Methadones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you could be right. Mike?
Yeah, Mike.
Well, anyway, it was in the Midwest somewhere. And we just asked him to do it, and yeah, he was into it. But yeah, the Leftovers, we played a handful of shows with the Methadones. Yeah, Dan Vapid's just he's the best.
Nice
Yeah.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool when you can, A, play with a band that you admire or a band that you like, but B, you convince the singer to go up on
Right.
stage. I mean, that'd just be fucking like crazy, dude. Matt, I feel you, man. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd probably miss
Yeah.
every note. Fucking.
And the funny thing is that whole tour, I think we're what's that 80s pop punk cover record that the Methadones have? We listen to that thing.
Oh, 21st Century
21st Century, yeah. Pop punk
Power Pop Riot.
right?
I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all
But
pop
it was
covers, but
just-
it's amazing. Yeah.
It was on the van for every drive, and the drives were long. And
Yeah.
we were just like,
Yeah.
man, this is Dan Vapid. That's who's singing. It's just, I know they're not
Yeah.
his songs, but still, it's awesome.
Don't stop rooting, it's just a shooting, another shooting, 2 hours school delay. Under the bleachers, we blame the teachers, it's not the teachers, it's midweek replay. Tragedy waits for me. Tragedy waits for me.
Screeching Weasel was one of my Bark Like a Dog. It was like one of my favorite. What was like my introduction to Ramones core.
Yeah.
And
I love that
when
record.
And when I heard
Cool
it, I
Kids.
was like, "Cool Kids." Oh, dude. God, there's so many. So I can't remember. It's been so long since I've listened to it, but so many damn good songs. And that was like I didn't know what Ramones core was at the time, but I know it sounded a lot like the Ramones, and I loved it. And they were bratty as hell. And just whiny as hell, but like I loved it. It worked. But and then I got I slowly got into the Methadones and Riverdale's Storm the Streets and all that kind of stuff, and just really loved and took a grasp to Ramones core. I love it. I love it. It's just like it's like bubblegum. You know what I mean? It's like bubblegum
Totally,
punk. I mean, I know they say that all the time or whatever, but
One
it's
more
really good shit.
quick Riverdale story. We were in Baltimore, and we were playing with the Riverdales. I think they did one of their first reunions there, wasn't it?
Actually, it wasn't. I don't think it was the Riverdale. I think it was billed as just Ben Weasel. I want to say. Are you talking about In Sub 07?
When I jumped off the balcony.
Yeah. I think that was billed as just a Ben Weasel show, but they played a bunch of Riverdale songs.
Yeah, and the place was going absolutely bonkers. And
Really?
like packed to the
awesome.
gills, way over capacity, so much fun. And I had the bright idea to sort of just like leap off the balcony and do some crowd surfing, and it ended up in like a 911 call. I think everybody ended up okay, but it was not the best idea in
What happened?
hindsight. I don't know, really. We don't really know.
I think someone he landed on wasn't so well after this.
But it
So
was
you
just
sent a
like
guy to a hospital.
maybe, I don't remember. But it was everybody ended up being okay. But then I ended up just like running up to the dressing room, and like Ben Weasel sitting there, and it's like like
Wow.
after the set.
And he was talking about it. And,
Yeah, he's like, some
so-
idiot jumped off the balcony. I'm like,
Oh, you
man.
didn't know it was you? That's
it was
No,
a really
no.
low balcony, all right?
But you never know, man. That shoe could come flying around and knock somebody's eye. You
I
never
know,
It's-
and it's happened to me before. I've broken my nose before like that. You know,
Yeah.
that's what going to shows is not about, but it happens.
Yep.
It happens, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I was living with my buddy. I lived in Los Angeles for a couple of years after I graduated college, and I moved back after a couple of years, and I didn't have a job, and I was living with my buddy at his house, and he had just gotten married. They didn't have kids yet, and I was sleeping in his guest room, like this piss yellow guest room. It was just like one of those ones they haven't
Smoked
renovated
in.
yet. Yeah, and it was had one of those day bed kind of things, or a futon. You know what I mean? I was like, just do it or whatever. But he's like, let's. No Use for a Name came with Limp and Dance Hall Crashers, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to it. I'm going to it. You know,
What a
so we go
bill.
to the show. Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah, that's great.
I was a huge Limp fan back in the day. I still am. Wish they would get back together, but No Use for I got a couple of stories from that show, but the main story is that I'm in the pit for No Use for a Name. I'm literally in there for like 2 minutes, and some dude steps on my ankle and basically sprained my ankle, and my ankle blew up, and I couldn't look for a job. So I was laid up for like a month, with my foot. And my buddy's like, you got to pay us rent, dude. You've been living here for like a month. I'm like, I can't do anything. We went to a punk show. But and that was one of those. I have a tendency back then to get really drunk, and if I would see any of the band members, I would go and talk to them and like, bro, you're my boy, and try to bro down with them,
Yeah.
And I did it with Tony Sly, and I just remember he looked at me like, get the fuck off me, man. Like I was pretty drunk, but he was saying goodbye to everybody after the show, which was really cool. He was like by the front door, just saying goodbye to everybody and all that kind of stuff. And I saw him actually many years later, 4 days before he passed. He played here in New Smyrna Beach with Joey
wow.
Cape.
Wow.
They did like an acoustic kind of thing here at the beach. And literally within a week, I saw the news. I'm like, we just saw him on Saturday, dude. That's freaking crazy. And I have a
That's
picture with him.
crazy.
I have a picture with him from that night, and it's one I'll always cherish. I mean, I look like shit because I was in the beer business and I weighed 120 pounds and I look like a crack addict. But it's a picture with Tony Sly, literally like a week before he passed, man. It's just I don't know if you guys are huge No Use for a Name fans. If you got to be if you're in the bands that
I am.
We
talked about.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
both. Yeah, we love the band.
Mikey loves No Use for a Name. Sometimes I'll show him a riff, and he's like, very no use for a name, and I'm like, hell yes. I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you joining the podcast. Is there anything coming up for you guys as far as any other shows that you guys got planned or any new music? I know you just released this stuff. So you guys have any plans for a full length down the line and any of that kind of stuff?
I think we've got some new. We're always sort of writing. I know Matt's been writing a lot lately. I gotta catch up if we want to keep this 50-50 thing going.
Yeah.
But I know. I think we'll keep writing, and maybe this summer and this fall, I think we'll write a lot together. And in terms of shows, we've just got the sort of slate that we have now that to support the new EP, and then might take a little downtime in the summer. Maddie's our bass player's in nursing school, so it's a little hectic right now because he's in an accelerated program.
Is he? Yeah.
But then in the fall, I think we might. I don't know. I know we've been talking to the guys in Hell Beach about doing maybe like a weekend or something with them, and our buddies in the Riptides up in Canada. I don't know if you've heard of that band.
Yep.
We know them from the Leftovers days, but we've been talking about maybe going up there for a weekend or something. So we'll see what happens.
Brad, I gotta ask, how long does it typically take to release this recording podcast? Will it be released before Friday?
No.
Okay, so we can tell you that on April 11th, we are happy to announce that we're playing with Nerf Herder and Diesel Boy and Hell Beach in Lowell, Mass. So we're psyched for that one.
What?
That's going to be a killer show. It's in Lowell at Taffeta Music Hall.
Yeah, it's like the Taffeta or something like that. I don't know.
Taffeta.
I don't know how to say it, but yeah,
Looks like a cool room, but yeah, Diesel Boy, Nerf Herder.
Oh man, God
Hell
bless it,
Beach,
dude. That's gonna be
and,
incredible.
so-
I love Diesel Boy. I'm a huge Diesel Boy fan, and Nerf Herder as well.
Yeah.
That's gonna be huge, man. And that's in April, you said?
Yep,
Yeah, it's
11th.
April 11th. Yeah.
We're not supposed to announce it until we play our Boston show, which is Friday. At O'Brien's.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. No, this podcast will come out a little bit after that, so I think you're
cool.
you're safe.
Perfect.
You're good to go.
I figured that was going to be the case, and I was like, I'm going to say it.
We'll just make
Yeah,
sure the
no.
Taffeta guys don't see this podcast.
Well, they won't be released. They said that anyway.
No, I'm just joking.
No, that's awesome. Man, I would love to fly up there and have the money to be able. I need that Elon Musk money to be able to come up there and hang out and see all that shit.
Just cut some funding from your children.
Yeah. All right. On that note, where can people go to grab some merch for Borderlines and all that kind of stuff? Is it through Mom's Basement, or do you guys have your own website?
Yeah, I would. If people want to get the new EP, the best spot is the Mom's Basement store. We've got some shirts and stuff up on our Bandcamp, but yeah, the Mom's Basement is definitely the place to go. And
For our shows.
yeah, and yeah, exactly. We're gonna have
These 6 new stickers just came
oh,
out
yeah.
today.
Oh hell yeah! Nice. I'll have to send you guys some Signal Cord stickers.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. We should send you a little. We'll send you a couple things, but
Okay.
yeah, we got we'll have vinyl at all our upcoming shows. So
What size shirt do you wear?
that'll be
You
sweet.
don't have to say it online.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm extra large because I'm 6'1", but I'm not like that heavy. So like everything's
Cool.
an extra large in my world.
All right, right on.
Even
we
though
got
I'm
some
like
ex-
built
we
like a
got some
freaking
extras.
straw, I have to wear an extra large. I appreciate you. No, that's really cool. No, I'll send you guys some stickers, but
Cool.
I finally got some printed out and they're legit. So I feel like legit, but one day I'll get
awesome.
shirts, and that's the next goal and then the next step, and get like an online store, but I don't know if anybody wants a stupid podcast shirt, but never know.
Yeah.
Hey.
Why not? people buy shirts for all sorts of things.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Andrew, Matt, thank you so much. Best of luck to you and the rest of the Borderlines crew. I am super stoked for you guys for all the shows that are coming up. I'm going to be watching from the internet and just having a case of FOMO, seeing you guys play these rad shows. And congratulations on the new EP. Really love it. Best of luck to you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Brad. Really appreciate you having us
Yeah.
on.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll miss you at shows.
Yeah, man. I'll
We'll
be there
get down to
in spirit,
Florida.
man.
We'll come down to
Yeah,
Florida.
dude, come down to Florida. I got
Yeah.
a cold beer waiting for you. All right.
If
Sounds
you do at last minute, if you do get to see Lone Wolf, I think they're coming back this fall.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll
Lone
be there.
Wolf, you got to
Okay.
see that band. You would love them. They're amazing friends, and I think they're going to be playing all those pre-fest shows. So keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. We'll do, guys. All right.
All
Take
right.
care. See you.
All right.
Great.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.